also a rewritten song, so it's not really. But this is a talking blues, which is a traditional American folk song style. And me and my buddy Mark Gunnery wrote this. This is the only song I've ever written under the influence of marijuana. It's a drug that does not help me write music. But it helped me write this song. And this was in 2006. It was right after Hugo Chavez got on TV in front of the whole UN and told George Bush to fuck off and called him the devil and stuff, right? And we were like, this dude is funny as shit, you know? Like, I'm sure if I was living in Venezuela, I'd have some really negative things to say about the man. But his sense of humor on that global stage was fucking present and needed to be there. And so we wrote this song about it. And it's called Talkin' Mean Machine. To understand this song properly, you need to close your eyes and you need to imagine the voice of George W. Bush. Remember that?
Oh.
You remember, right? We're going to bring him freedom. We're going to smoke him out of their cave. Yeah. That guy. So I'm going to embody his voice too. Well, I'm the meanest man. I got a five-sided brain. Most folks around me think I'm insane, but it doesn't faze me. Not a bit. You say I'm crazy. I don't give a shit. I'm mean. You're allowed to laugh, by the way, at this song. Otherwise, it'll be awkward. Well, I'm mean to my mother. I'm mean to my brother. I'm mean to anyone I think of as an other. And if you don't want to play nice with me, I'll bring democracy to your stupid country. I'm mean. You might think I'll be a little bit nicer when I get older. I'm like 240 though. Well, I'm mean in the East, I'm mean in the West. Free market meanness is what I like best. I go around, put lots of folks in debt, and I fuck their lives up with interest. The econ people call those structural adjustment programs. Neoliberal reforms, austerity measures, budget cuts. I don't like synonyms. I just call it mean. Well, I go around overthrowing governments, in the bad way, of course, not in the good way. With the army or economics for fruit and gold and gasoline, I funded many a mean machine. Folks like Suharto, Augusto Pinochet, Manuel Noriega, No Dindi, Amsterdam, Hussein, Marcos Gautier, Pancho, the Shah, Ram Mushar, Dubaye, Mubarak, Maliki, Ben Ali, Karzai, and many others. And there are many others. Like Osama. Osama bin Laden, I've heard two stories about his birth. I'll just tell you one of them. I heard that he was actually the child of Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan. And I heard that it was an immaculate conception. Though they did have sex, the birthing was an immaculate conception. And Reagan carried the child. That might be true. Might not. I'll let you decide. You can Google it. Better yet, make a Wikipedia entry on that subject if you would, please. If you're a techie. Where was I? Well, I profit from wars, I profit from jails, I profit from disease, I profit from sales, I profit from things you think would sadden me. Even found a way to profit off of tragedies, things like tsunamis, earthquakes, hurricanes, refugee crises, anthrax outbreaks, the housing bubble, bird flu, pit bulls, American Idol, Miley Cyrus, all sorts of shit. And Osama. I got a lot of other folks that roll with me, like the Saudis and South Korea, Israel, Australia, and Pakistan, and my 51st state, England, and sometimes Haiti too, you know, depending of course on how recently I've kidnapped a president, which I did back in 2004, you might remember. You might remember. You probably don't. It's okay. Oh, but Hugo Chavez didn't roll with me. He didn't like my type of hegemony. He called me a donkey on live TV. He's got a good point though, because I'm an asshole. But I said, listen here, Mr. Communist, I dare you to come to the next UN conference because I'll blow up your helicopter, poison your cigar. And Chavez said, I don't smoke cigars. And I said, I don't give a shit. I don't like the UN anyways, bunch of communists in there. I mean the French, you know about the French? And that communist statue they built in the New York Harbor. Communists. When the Tea Party first started out, they were actually called tea baggers. That was their thing. They were like this group of old, presumably straight men calling themselves tea baggers, wearing these funny little triangular paper hats, dressed all vintage 1700s, fighting the British, killing the Native Americans, all these things. The golden days, the good old days, where they want to go back to. But they were calling themselves teabaggers, and I have a theory that like one of their kids was like, "Hey Dad, that means putting your scrotum on someone's face at like a college party." And he had like a moral dilemma. You know? And he was like, "I'm into that, but I can't have the public know because we're supposed to be homophobic." So they changed the name. They thought really hard, and they said, "All right. Tea Party." And for a group of people that named themselves after something that happened in the late 1700s, the Boston Tea Party, to the extent that they wear the little triangular paper hats, you'd think they would have read the history well enough to know that it was the French Navy that blockaded the British and helped the U.S. win their revolution. But of course, the first thing the teabaggers did on TV was they broke a bunch of French wine bottles. Because cowardly France didn't want to liberate Iraq with us. And it united alcoholics and the left. It gave birth to the anti-war movement. That's how the anti-war movement started. And it only grew from there. Anyways. Well, yeah, some folks don't like what I do. I say they're all Islamo-fascists too, and folks question me. It really gets me going. You see, I'm just trying to keep this oil flowing, get rid of trade barriers. You know, like child labor laws and unions. Hurt people, hurt animals, keep generic AIDS medications out of the hands of poor people, establish sweatshops across the global south, and other such things. You know, spread freedom. Oh, and I'm a pro-life, too. Alright, I have just a few more songs. Thanks for hanging out, y'all. By the way, y'all is not just a hillbilly term, it's also an urban term. Everyone thinks I'm from the mountains. They're like, hey, y'all. I'm like, no.
It's not like Fred does.
It's more like, y'all got any weed? It's more of an urban term. What are we going to talk about here? Okay, let's do this song. I want to talk about another touchy subject, perhaps. I had another capo.
Oh crap.